RStudio, which is integrated development environment for R language, and it is used to improve the workflow of data analysis in R. When we open it, we will encounter 4 different sections in our interface. We have the environment section, the files section, the console section, and the scripting section, which is marked as United 1 here. Aside from them, we have many other buttons and toolbars like plots, packages, markers, terminals, and many others, and we'll speak about them later. For now, let's use the environment section to import our first dataset. We go to Import Dataset, select From Text, and select the file and the directory we want to use. In this case, I'm using gene expression table from the cell line project, and after I click Open, I will see some previews of my data. I can see, for example, that we have a tab delimited file, which is a common thing when dealing with TXT files. But below that we have a data frame preview, and I can see that my labels are not okay. I have some V's showing up here, which are not part of my data. So I want to fix this issue with the labels. I'm gonna go to Heading, click Yes, and under the row names, I will click Use First Column. Now my labels are fine, I have differentiated labels from numbers, and my dataset is ready to be imported. I click Import, and my data will show up on the top left. Under the global environment, I can see that I have created a data frame that consists of labels and numbers. It can consist of many other things. In this case, we have 1000 observations and 11 variables. 1000 observations are 1000 genes, you can review them, and 11 variables are 11 samples. You can also scroll left, right, and review them. So, we have created the data frame. It's created here next to the coding section. So this top left section is used for the coding, it's used to view the data, it can be used for many other things, and we'll speak about that later. Now let's review the files section. It is used to access the files, go through directories, set working directories, and many other things. We can go to this button with 3 periods. For example, it says Go to Directory. If we click that, we can see that directory is set to documents by default, but we can change that. We can go, for example, to desktop, and we can access the cell line project folder I created and click Open. I have now accessed this directory. It contains other files from cell line project, and I can set this as my working directory by clicking More, and we'll speak about that later. Now, we have reviewed the file section. Let's go to the console section. Console section is used to execute code, but it can be also used to write code. Whatever we do in R, it will write the code in the console section and execute it. When we imported the dataset, it have written this code here and executed it. We can write the code in the scripting section and in the console section, but these are 2 very different types of coding sections. For example, if I write something in the scripting section, I can edit it, I can run diagnostics on it, I can use many tools, I can include annotations, and then I can run the whole code or the parts of the code that I want. On the other hand, console is very direct. Whatever I write there, after clicking enter, it will just run and execute the code I have written. So, right now we have reviewed the console section, and let's go to the scripting section. I want to create a first line of code in the scripting section, which will create a summary of the data for these 11 samples and 1000 genes. I will go to the United 1, which is the scripting file, and I will type summary. After typing summary, 2 semicolons will appear, and I want to include the name of the data frame I imported in this, between these 2 semicolons. we type expression and these two options will appear. We'll select the exact name of the data frame we created. After selecting it, we can see that it matches the name of the data frame. So now we have created the first line of the code and we can run it using this button on the right which says Run. After running this line of the code, it will be run in the console section below, which is also where it will be executed and we'll have outputs and results from the code.